Over the week of January 22nd through the 27th, thousands of young Catholics from around the world will be converging on Panama City with Pope Francis to take part in the next World Youth Day. The theme for this year's World Youth Day is taken from the Gospel of St. Luke. I am the servant of the Lord, may it be done to me according to your word. In our next segment, we'll have the opportunity to talk with two young people from our own diocese who will be taking part in this pilgrimage. Joining me now, it's a pleasure to welcome Abby Truchel, who is a senior nursing student at East Stroudsburg University and a member of St. Jude's Parish in Mountaintop. Next, I'd like to welcome Mr. Stephen McNulty, a senior at North Pocono High School and a parishioner at St. Eulalia's Parish in Elmhurst. Stephen, Abby, thank you so much for being here. Abby, same question I want to ask of both of you. I know for you and Stephen, this is your first experience with the World Youth Day. Why are you so excited about going to this?
I've always heard great feedbacks from some of my friends that have gone to World Youth Day in the past, and just the stories that they have shared with me and the energy and the excitement that they bring back is something that I want to experience myself as well, and just meet so many people from different cultures and different countries as well that share the same love of faith that I have.
Stephen, I know you've been very involved, like Abby, in a lot of different events locally here in our own diocese. But this is something that's taking you a step above. I mean, you're going outside of the country. Again, why are you looking forward so much to this trip to Panama?
I'm really interested to see how different cultures embrace our religion, different ways, similarities, just kind of see how they do the same things that we do, but a little bit different, and see kind of their take on it. I'm really interested to see that.
Now, in both of your cases, you've had the opportunity to attend events here in the diocese where you're sitting around the table and maybe you're looking at a few dozen, maybe even a few hundred people from around the Diocese of Scranton. But here's a situation where you're going to be going to a new country, and when you attend an event with Pope Francis, you're going to be surrounded by thousands of young Catholics representing just about every country across the globe. Why is there such power in a moment like that when you realize that you're part of a much larger church and there are so many other young Catholics out there that share your love for your faith?
Well, I think Jesus says, whenever there's two or three gathered in my name, I am there with you. Now we're taking that to a huge scale at World Youth Day with thousands of young individuals that just love our faith. And I think there's so much power into that because we all share just a love for just each other and our culture. And despite our differences, we get to learn so much about each other. And I think just being one with each other to celebrate our faith brings just so much power in that moment.
Stephen, same thing. When you look at that moment where you're looking around and you realize, oh my God, look at all these young Catholics, and there's that one bond, the fact that you are sharing your love for your Catholic faith. Does it really inspire you, the fact that you're going to be sitting in an environment with so many other young people who are just as excited about being a disciple of Christ?
Definitely. It shows how strong the Catholic Church is throughout, even what the media says and everything, how we're all bonded together through one love of Jesus Christ, and that there's millions of people in the world that share that with you. And it's just powerful to see that you're not the only person, and it's not just your parish. It's a lot bigger than that. It's the world.
At the last World Youth Day that was held in Poland, Pope Francis challenged young Catholics to leave a mark in our world, in our society. Abby, I mean, you've had the experience of getting to know a lot of young Catholics from around our diocese. Do you think young Catholics today are looking for these type of opportunities such as World Youth Day? Are they looking to get more engaged in the life and mission of our church?
Absolutely, I definitely think so. And after the last World Youth Day in Poland, we started a new initiative in our diocese of the Leave a Mark Mass. And it's just one day, one Mass that we have, but it also kind of lasts the whole entire year of kind of reminding you to leave a mark. And I think so many of the young individuals in our diocese are definitely looking to be a part of that and leave a mark. We're here and we have a voice, so we're going to use it.
Stephen, in preparation for this, you and Abby have both been very involved in various things that have happened here closer to home. I know you've been part of Quo Vadis Days. You've had an opportunity to participate in Light the Fire. Tell me about some of these events and how you think they've had an impact on your life, some of the events that you've taken part in here locally.
Definitely. For Quo Vadis, it was a group of men that were able to talk about where our lives are headed and where we think the future of our faith is going to be. And Light the Fire just got us all amped up for our love of Christ and basically to kick off to make sure that we're staying involved throughout the year. And it's just these local events, it makes you feel so great to see people all around your diocese be able to celebrate that love of Christ and just be willing to go forward and get involved in every possibility that presents to you. And it's powerful.
Now, you've also had the opportunity to take advantage of the National Catholic Youth Conference.
Mm-hmm.
Why was that such an incredible experience?
See, when you talk about the diocese, it's a couple hundred, then NCYC you bring it to a couple thousand, and it was just great to see kids from all different dioceses around the country. So that was kind of cool to see all these different parts of the world, and it was just nice to see all different kinds.
Abby, when you think about that, when you're in an environment like that, such as the National Catholic Youth Conference, now in this case on a global scale, looking at World Youth Day, and you realize, you know what, I can feel comfortable sitting down and talking about my Catholic faith. I don't have to be embarrassed about it. Why is that such a great feeling when you know that you're walking into an environment where there are so many other young Catholics who feel just as excited about talking about being a Catholic?
I think we're more connected than we realize, and each person that I meet, I'm able to learn something from that person that I interact with, and I'm sure they can take away something from me as well. So I think when we can sit down and just speak freely and openly, and we also have differences, many differences, but we can put them aside and kind of share and definitely agree upon our love of our faith that we have. And I think when we just sit down and have that open and honest conversation, we learn a lot, and it's just such a growing opportunity. And for us to just interact on such a deeper level, it's something that I really value and I really appreciate.
Stephen, over the last several years, probably one of my favorite parts of what I do here for the diocese is talking with young people like you and Abby. And quite often when we talk about an event such as Light the Fire or ISLI or National Catholic Youth Conference, they all come back with a new excitement. This is really great. And I think there's a lot of young Catholics in our diocese who are not taking advantage of these opportunities. When you think about the challenges and problems that young people like yourself, a high school senior, face today, why do you think today more than ever it's so important for young Catholics to take advantage of these opportunities where they can get a deeper relationship with their church and with Christ?
Well, the thing about going to one of those events is you make a new group of friends that you share that one commonality with, and that's that love of Christ. And so you have your school friends and you have your sports friends and stuff like that, that you have that same common thing that you guys talk about, but to be able to have that group of friends that shares that love of Christ is just, it deepens your faith because it forces you to, almost. When you're talking with them, it's inevitable to bring up that topic, and it's just an easy thing to kind of talk with them, and it makes the everyday life, it involves Christ in that, and that's what's really amazing about that.
Abby, I had the opportunity to talk with our youth ministry director, Shannon, recently about this, and she was saying that you and Stephen will be among some 10 young people that will be going to Panama for World Youth Day. And in addition to the opportunities just to be with Pope Francis, the Scranton delegation will also have the chance to do other things outside of these major events, including a retreat experience with Steve Angrisano in a rainforest. I mean, how cool is that? Why is something like that going to be such a neat experience being a part of that particular retreat.
Yes, I think when we all talked about that before, we're so very excited to have the opportunity, and it's different. It's something that none of us have ever experienced before, and to have Steve Agresano lead that for us, he's such an amazing person, just full of life and joy. So to have him as one of our leaders for that retreat in the rainforest, I think will be an experience that we've never had compared to none. So I think it'll put us out of our comfort zone and just bring us closer together as a group going down together.
Is this your first experience out of the country? Have you been elsewhere?
No, I've traveled a lot of my life, but I've never been to a Central America country, so I'm very excited to experience that.
When you go on this trip, I mean, you're going to be going a little bit outside of your comfort zone, Stephen, because here you're going to be sitting down talking with young people who don't necessarily speak the same language. You're going to be meeting so many different cultures. But why are you looking forward to that aspect of it, that international flavor of meeting other young Catholics from every country?
It's come down to where you could speak differently and everything, but when it comes down to it, we all do this. We all make the sign of the cross, and we all do the same things in Mass. We all break bread and drink the wine and everything. And the essentials, it's all the same. It's just seeing the little differences that speaking a different language and all those different things. It's going to be very interesting to see.
Abby, I'm looking forward to the week when you and Stephen and the others come back, because I can't wait to talk to you about this experience and what you thought of it. But why do young people get so excited about the possibility to be in the presence of the Holy Father and to actually see Pope Francis in person?
I think he is such a role model for us, and he's the leader of our physical church here. So I think just seeing him, and I've had the opportunity to see him in Philadelphia, and on that large scale at the World Meeting of Families back, I think it was in 2015, and the energy there and the vibe was just amazing for everyone to come together. And I think just holding true to that here in 2019 when we see Pope Francis in Panama, it's going to be the same thing on a large scale, and we're just going to be so excited to see him and just celebrate with our fellow Catholics.
I didn't realize you attended the World Meeting of Families.
Yes.
What did you think of that whole event, and what did you get out of it?
I got so much out of it. I think it was really life-changing for me, especially as I embarked on my college journey. But just so much respect for the family and the fidelity of the familial unit, and I just loved it. And I think it was a great way to celebrate with some of my fellow young Catholics as a freshman in college as well.
Stephen, one of the many times I came across you in the last few months, it was part of the Quo Vadis Days that was held at Misericordia University. And the whole premise of Quo Vadis is not necessarily just looking at religious vocations, but looking at vocations in general. And where is God calling me in my life? You personally, when you think about the future, do you have any idea where you think God may be calling you personally?
Ever since about 8th grade, I've had this little nudge at being a priest and everything, but Quo Vadis has really brought that out and showed me where to go with that. So right now I'm discerning priesthood, and I'm open to the option, but I'm very serious about it, and that's where I see myself definitely involved in the church. And if that's priesthood, if that's youth ministry, that's up to God, but I'm open to whatever His plan is for me.
And more than likely, this experience at World Youth Day, it's only going to solidify your excitement about doing something with the church?
Definitely.
Abby, you yourself now, you're pursuing a degree in nursing, but you're also involved in the Air Force ROTC program. So in a few months, you'll be commissioned a second lieutenant. When you think about everything you've learned through East Stroudsburg with your nursing career and going into the Air Force, how do you see all of your involvement in the church benefiting you in the years ahead in the work you'll be doing?
I think it gave me a lot of abilities to be a leader in my community, and I think just finding where my voice is and realizing that I'm much stronger than I thought I was in the past. And just people here at the diocese have really strengthened my confidence, and as well just really valuing so much and empathy and all those caring aspects as well, coming from nursing and just learning so much on the academic side and applying that to each person I meet every day. And I think I've learned so much over the years. I'm really excited for the next part of my chapter.
And you recently took on a new challenge at St. Jude's Parish in
Yes.
Mountaintop. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so Tricia Scanlon will be the director of Young Adult and Youth Ministry, so I'll be helping her in the next coming months until I embark on my new journey in July. So I'm very excited to kind of give back to a program that has really molded me and I'm a product of, and I think it'll be a great opportunity to give back to my local church and community.
And I think recently, was it this past summer, I heard you doing a talk about single vocations?
Yes. So I'm currently dating, and I'll be pursuing, hopefully, married life.
God bless you. I hope everything works out for you. Stephen, one last question for a young person that's watching this today. I'm preaching to the choir because the two of you can appreciate what it means to be connected to your church and the joy and love that comes from being with other young people that are part of that family and that community. You mentioned it earlier, the friends that are formed through these various events. For a young person who's never really fully gotten engaged in activities such as Quo Vadis or ISLI or National Catholic Youth Conference or World Youth Day, what would you say in order to encourage a young Catholic today to get more involved and to take a step to get involved in these activities?
It wasn't long ago where I was not involved at all. I was just involved in my local parish. And Quo Vadis was brought to me 2 years ago to go to, and I declined it from my pastor. And then last year, this past summer, my pastor came to me again and said, here you go if you want to go. And then I said, all right, and the deadline was due the next day, and I just did it. And I didn't look back then. And I'm so happy I did it, and all I could say to the people who aren't doing it is just do it. Even if you don't, I didn't know anybody going into it, and I made so many friends. It's an amazing experience. There's a lot more people like you that are doing the same thing. You're gonna find common people no matter who you are. There's all wide ranges of people there.